is a scramble for the ball. Moody gets it, sends it over to Curry, who gives a pump fake, sidestep, kind of 28-foot three-point drill, which is very fitting for Steph Curry.
Yeah.
That shot there, that three-pointer, puts him as the first player in NBA history to reach 4,000 three-pointers, which, when I was reading the article, I saw that it happened at the 8 minutes or 8:19 mark in the third quarter, and I was kind of like, I'm surprised it took that long in the game because I think he went in only needing 3.
Right.
And then I was reading a little bit about it. We could talk about if the Warriors were specifically just going for that because they kind of like let Sacramento cut a 23-point deficit trying to get Curry his 3-pointer. But obviously that's not to take away from the amazing milestone that it was. It's crazy to think that he passed Ray Allen all the way back in December of 2021 to become like the leading 3-point scorer in NBA history. And that was, by the way, a little shy of 3,000.
Right.
And now here we are at 4,000. So congratulations to him. It is worth mentioning that I thought it was funny. It was against the Kings. I don't know why. I just kind of thought that was ironic because I feel like anytime we talk about a history-making thing for Curry, it's against the Kings. But maybe I'm just combining that in my head for some reason. But either way, 4,000 3-pointers. I think you and I were kind of talking off mic that, I mean, maybe it happens way down the line, but at this point, it's like this will probably not be beaten. Though we were, and this will lead us into a bigger thing. We were talking about James Harden because I was like, well, Harden, maybe he passes 4,000. I don't think he passes Curry, but maybe he passes 4,000 because they're similar age and all that. And then you said he's only at like what, 3,100 or something like that?
Well, first off, only at 3,100. Like he didn't beat Reggie Miller and Ray Allen too. I mean, that's what's crazy about, you talked about that record first. I mean, obviously the game, without saying, over the course of this podcast, over the past decade, whatever you want to call it, has radically changed with 3-pointers, where it is such a bigger emphasis of the game. And I mean, Ray beating Reggie's number, I remember when that happened, and that was a huge deal. Like that was one of the biggest deals. I didn't know if you thought that record would never fall, but it was definitely like a big deal when Ray Allen broke that record.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, it's been broken twice. And I mean, Harden is a little bit of a victim there again, if it's just happening second. But, Harden and Curry basically in the same, they've had the same career more or less in terms of like seasons played. And yeah, for there to be a 900 difference, like James definitely has a shot at 4,000, though. Honestly, given his age at this point, that is a lot of 3-pointers over the next few years. Harden is still quite good, as we've been seeing with the Clippers this year, but he's not quite the offensive dynamo that he was in Houston either, where you think he'd be putting up that volume necessarily.
Right.
For Steph, though, I don't know if it'll ever be broken, honestly, because now we're at the point where, like, we are in this heavy 3-pointer league. So the attempts will be there. I think guys will be in position to do it, but then it's just the reality of like, none of these guys are better than Steph. Like Steph just is the greatest shooter of all time. He's so remarkably better than everyone at this one particular facet of NBA basketball that I don't know. Like 4,000 is a huge number. Obviously, it's something that we've never seen before. The NBA rightfully did a good job of celebrating it.
Where would you be willing to put the over-under at for career 3-pointers when Curry's all said and done?
Jeez.
Would you be willing to go to 5K?
No, probably not. I don't think you'd get me to 5K. I mean, and again, that's more of an age thing than anything else. Like with Curry having 4 rings now, the team is going to be competitive, but like Steph is 36 at this point. Now I know we're all sitting here and we're like, hey, well, Bron is doing this. And, either way, it's just one of those, I don't think he'll get to 5 just because I don't know that he's going to play another 5 seasons. I'm trying to pull up here real quick, like what his attempts have been for the season, even just like,
his attempts.
Okay, so I'm looking at it now. So last season he led the league. He had 876. This season so far he's at 636. So like let's just say, he usually is putting up definitely over 700. Usually if he's getting to 8, it's right around 800. Like he's got 876 is wild, but he has 2 seasons of 810 and 801.
It is worth mentioning though, other than his 2019-2020 season where he only played 5 games, it is the first season where there's one other season I should say where he played 64. That would have been 21-22 where he shot under 40%.
Right.
That was at 38. He's right around 4. I mean, he's at 39.8. We can round up for him. So at least from the last 3 years in perspective, like it has been a semi decrease, like 42% in 22-23, then a 40% last year. 39 again.
Yeah.
It's a whole 0 or 0.01% down, but like that's at least a noticeable trend at this point. To like, if we're talking about the next 4 or 5 years, like can he in theory put up at a minimum 300 threes a season going forward? That will then take what? I mean, he needs another 1,000. So, that's going to be 5-ish years, if not more. And then it goes to your conversation. Can he be healthy long enough to do that? I don't know.
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, you're right about the percentage. I do think the volume is still there, though, and perhaps that's more important in this case. Like, he's had over 250 every year, except for the 1 year in 2019 and 20 when he just didn't play a lot of games.
Yeah.
But he's had consistently, like, let's just say, I'm trying to like average this in my head quick. Like 357 is the high, 253 is the low this year, but again, he's still playing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say he's making 300 a year. So he needs to, in order to get to 5. Wait, say it again.
300 for 5 years. That's 1,500 more threes.
Yeah, now you're right. Now I'm sitting here and I was like, maybe 5,000 isn't actually out of. And when you look at the numbers, it does make you think different. Because I could see Steph playing 5 more years. Like that's the thing. He's still good. He's 36. Again, you see Bron still playing. You see Chris Paul still playing. Shooting, we've always said on this podcast over the years, is the skill that ages the best. I don't know, man. I could still say, like, Steph's at the point now where it is kind of, he's fully on his own terms, obviously. He doesn't need to win anything else or prove anything else legacy-wise.
So let's look at it this way, all right? So this year, right now, he's at 253, okay? Mm-hmm. So if he, for the next 5 years, hits 253 times 5 is 1,265. He's probably, as long as he plays for 5 more years and is healthy enough to put up at least what he's doing, he's probably getting 5K.
Yeah, I'm revising here and fully going over on the 5K. Yeah, I'll go over on 5. I think realistically the line is like 5,500. Because at that point, you're starting to get into the age of like, does he get to 41 and 42? So I'd probably go under there. But I think if he I think he's got 4 or 5 years left in him. And if that's the case, I think he'll get 5K easy.
Semi agree.
I want to look at James now.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering about is like, so he probably gets to 5. James we were
Harden
at like
get to
3.
5.
No, but can he get to 4?
Probably. Dude, it's going to be hard. So Harden, for some perspective, in Houston, he was hitting the rate that Steph was. Like his highest is in 2018, 2019, where he had 378. Like that's a lot of 3-pointers, man. Really though, since then, like the last few years, his last year with the Sixers, he hit 161. His 2 years with the Clippers so far, he hit 186 last season. And he hit 191 so far this season. Again, he's still got a lot of basketball left, but yeah, we're realistically like, even if you round that up to 200, like let's say he gets to 200 this year, he's at 3,100. Okay, so he's at 3,100 almost and a half right now. So let's say he gets up to 3,200. We'll give him that. Okay, you're 800 away. He could play 4 more years. Like I do think Harden can play 4 more years, but because he's playing a smaller role and because I think like 200 is kind of the ceiling of what Harden is doing right now, I'm a little like, I don't know that. I think Harden's best case scenario is he gets to 4K. I don't know how much that'll happen. He's a year younger than Steph. Like he's 35 years old.
So 5 years could, but his game. Yeah. So, and I also think the team that is around them is a big part of it too, right? Like,
well, right. And in Harden's case, Harden's never won a ring. So, like, there is a chance as well that I see him maybe go try to play a smaller role on a contender later in his career because he wants to get that ring before he checks out. Like, that's the thing with Steph, too, is like, we already know how many rings Steph has. Like, he doesn't need to win anything at this point. I think it's truly just, what does he want to do?
But like, I would be interested to see his 3-point percentage at the end of the year after Jimmy Butler got there, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like? Because now a lot of the attention's kind of off of him.
Yeah.
Maybe freeing him up for a little bit more threes, even though he's making these crazy contested threes. Like, maybe the percentage does pop up back to like a 41% or something in the back half of the season. I almost wonder if I can do like the last 5 games or so for him. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
While you're pulling that up, like, let's talk about in the meantime. Yeah. Well, one random thing before we get too deep into the Warriors and how they're actually playing right now. I love that they had Biedrins come back in the tribute video because he was the first guy that assisted Steph's 3-pointer. Straight out of Latvia. Just like I think they were teammates for 4 years on some of those OG Warriors teams back in the day. So I thought that was really cool. That's when Steph kind of got emotional a little bit. He's like, "You got Biedrins on this video." Like, it was wild. The Warriors, though, currently, yeah. So preview to Ballin and Fallin later. There's a few streaks going on, win streaks going on in the Western Conference right now. And I'm not going to mention the Warriors and Ballin and Fallin, but they are worth mentioning here that they've won 6 in a row going into this podcast. They're all the way out of play-in position right now, which, again, is a precarious circumstance because the Timberwolves, who, again, we'll talk about later on the show, have also won 7 in a row. And so they're right there as well. The Wolves have played 2 more games than the Warriors have. They have 1 more win, 1 more loss. So like you're not, but now, you're a game and a half up on the Clippers. You're way up. I mean, you're now fully 5 up on Sacramento. You're 6 up on Dallas. And I mean, Sacramento's dealing with injuries. Dallas is dealing with the biblical plague that they've unleashed right now. And I mean, when you look at the rest of the conference, the Lakers are going to deal with the LeBron injury, which we're going to talk about a little bit. Again, nothing too devastating, but that's a week by week thing. They've lost 4 in a row now going into this. I mean, at that point, and you're still 3.5 back of the Lakers, but like you're within striking distance of Memphis, of Houston. I mean, even of Denver. Like, you're running out of time here, so I don't think you're going to get all the way to that top. But I mean, there's a chance if you finish strong enough, like you're looking at a home playoff series in the first round, which is remarkable given where the Warriors have been for the majority of the season.
And I finally found the stat that I was looking for. Okay, so in the last 10 games, because I think they said with Jimmy Butler, they're 11-1, if I'm not mistaken. Curry's 3-point percentage in the last 10, 43.2%.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, look, like the Warriors bet big time on that Jimmy could still be Jimmy and that despite his age, he could still pull it out of the tank.
At least for now. Yeah.
I was largely in that camp. I thought put him in a winning situation. Like, look, you know what Jimmy is at the end of teams, but when Jimmy gets there at the beginning, it's really good for a long time. And, I love the idea of Steph just having that teammate. I don't think he's necessarily had a teammate that talented in a while. Like, no disrespect to Clay, but Clay's been declining now for a little bit. You kind of got to go back to KD almost. Which is really remarkable. I mean, yeah, like you said, they're 13-1 with Jimmy in the lineup. I don't know if you saw the Sacramento win. How about Draymond Green leading the way in points? Did you see that? He had 23 points. That's the first time he's led the Warriors in scoring since Game 7 of the 2016 Finals when he went crazy.
Good for him.
I mean, wow, he's 4-7 from beyond the arc.
I was going to say, what did he eat before that game? Because they need to hold that in their back pocket.
Yeah, I mean, 2 guys I think deserve a shout out to the Warriors in specific beyond Steph and Jimmy. One is Kuminga, who is coming off injury and just was great last night. I mean, 18 points in 20 minutes, insanely efficient.
7 and 10, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looks like he's playing his role. The other one is, how about Post, man? Post has been great. He's one of the more important players, like Quinn Post and what he's been able to do for them down low and taking up some of that dirty work. I mean, this is a guy who I think most people didn't even, I mean, shoot, I don't think many of us were keeping an eye on Quinn Post too much for the beginning of the season, but he's kind of having a late little breakout here. And I think that's been huge for them.
Yeah, I was pulling up to see what his plus minus stats were a little bit to see if I can find it right now. They are they're a plus 2.4 with him per 100 possessions when he's on the court. So definitely one of those. I always feel like you have like 2 or 3 guys that kind of, at least from like, if you're a Warriors fan, but maybe national NBA fans don't really know about, but they're like a key role to winning really anything or even playoff games and stuff. And I feel like he probably falls into that category a little bit.
Yeah, well, he's shooting well too. Like he's hitting 41.7% of 3-pointers right now. Like, go off, Quentin.
And not only that, still taking a decent amount, almost 4 a game. Or no, sorry, 9 a game. 9 a game? No, that's per 36 minutes. I was about to say that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. Yeah, nine's a lot for Quinn Post. I don't know if we.
I was say, dog, you need to calm down. Actually, no, he's taking 3. He's taking about 2 a game. Yeah, so
second round impact making or second round pick, I should say, making an impact. Not a second round impact making an impact. That would be a little something. But yeah, I mean, look, the Warriors look dangerous. There's no way else to say it. Western Conference, we say it every week, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But it still runs through OKC. But the way the Warriors are playing right now, when you look around at the rest of these teams, when you look at Denver, when you look at Houston, when you look at Memphis, when you look at the Lakers, like, I don't really feel like they're that much different. They're not that far off. Like, you could talk me into the Warriors beating any of them in a 7-game series if they're going to play like this. Obviously, we know, a lot of this different characters here than before, but like still the core of this roster with Steph and with Trey and with Jimmy as well, like have meaningful experience. They play deep into the playoffs. So I don't think anybody's going to want to see them in the first round, especially if they somehow sneak out a home series here. Like, that would be a major, major victory for them.
Well, yeah, and I don't want to go too far past the thought process of, like, if I am, the Thunder have a little bit of experience now, and the Nuggets obviously have the experience, but like Rockets more kind of honing in on them is like, I feel like Rockets more than any of them wouldn't want to see probably the Lakers or really the Warriors, just because it's going to be their first experience at playoffs. And I feel like that does mean something, especially if you're going up against a LeBron or a Steph Curry, who's been there every year for the last whatever.
It might. The Rockets have a little bit of vets there to kind of.
That's true.
Because I agree with you from the young guy perspective, and for Houston, obviously that's their most important element. So like, I do think there's, you worry about that a little bit. The only reason I'm not fully as worried about that is because Udoka's been in the finals before as a coach. I think because as well, like, you've got a few guys like Fred VanVleet, finals MVP, won the championship with Toronto. You've got Dylan Brooks, who was in the playoffs all those years with Memphis. So I'm with you in the sense their young guys are all very green. They haven't played a lot of meaningful basketball yet, but it's not like, hey, we're all 21 years old and this is our first go at this. Like, at least you got a few there in the locker room who can help out.
And worth mentioning, so far my prediction on the Grizzlies going 500 for the rest of the season is correct. They are 5-5, and they are slipping, and they are gonna let the Lakers potentially pass them in the next few games, and they are tied right now with the Rockets. Like, it's happening. And now you got the Timberwolves, who seem to figure it out too. They're on a 7-game win streak, 8-2 in their last 10. Like, things could get real ugly real fast if you don't start figuring whatever that is out. So
I thought this was gonna be about your Cleveland pick, because Cleveland's won 16 in a row.
I should also say it's crazy that they're about to win out. The only game I was gonna give them on the loss was against the Bucks, and they gave it to them. So what is that, like a 20? That would be like a 26 win streak. I think they've got like 10 games left or something like that.
Yeah, they've got maybe
more. Yeah.
14 left, I think.
30 win streak to end the season.
They played 66 games right now. So yeah, you've got at what 16 point, more games.
At what point? Okay, again, now we're going way down the line.
They'd be 72-10. If they won out, it'd be 72-10. They'd be tied with the Bulls for the second best record all time in regular season history.
And here's what I want to ask you about that, because at what point does that start to become the conversation, or does it go, hey, we've got such a massive lead on everybody. Let's rest for the playoffs. Let's not go crazy. We don't need to get injured here, because you're not going to beat the record.
No,
you're just going to tie it.
No, it definitely becomes that. As soon as you get the number 1 seed, I think you start playing the balance. I know you're wondering, Justin, why I'm looking down from my microphone right now, what I'm doing. But if we're talking 72 and 10, I'm going to flex a little bit. You got to pull the 11s out, the 72 and 10
Oh.
Bulls, Jordan 11s. Like, it's right here in the tag. It says, inspired by the most historic season led by the greatest player ever. I don't know if the camera can see that, but it's right there in the tag.
Baby.
Talk about that. Now, again, I think these came out. I feel like this was a 2016 pair. I haven't worn these though. I'm about to wear these.
I was say, do you have a pair of Currys or something too from their season? Or
no, God, no. Respectfully, okay. Like those Steph shoes are great if you want to play basketball, but like there's no. I don't like full disclosure. I don't really wear my Jordans anymore. Like you knew me when we lived in Jacksonville at probably the peak of my Jordan. Like I wear more Jordan hoodie or brand hoodies than anything at this point. Like I don't have, I mean, the 11s, I have a pair of 3s. I have a few pairs of 4s. I have a pair of 11s. I have a pair of 9s that Amber got me way back in the day that actually are re-releasing this week. I haven't known the only Jordans I bought are I've been buying the 1 lows, the Jordan 1 lows, which shout out to our guys, Samby Albuquerque and Lewis Axon, who fully turned my opinion on those. I was a big Jordan 1 low hater. I'm completely opposite now. I want them in like every color. But those you can wear more outside. Like that's kind of my point is it's like I don't really wear, and just like unfortunately, like I'm 5'10 pushing 5'11. Like the higher up Jordan 1s don't look good on me. They make my legs look kind of short. Like so
you got some rain boots on.
It's just like, look, I'm a low top guy for the most part. Like I got a few mids, but it's like that's why I wear Air Forces. That's why I wear like Adidas Ultra Boost. Like they look better.
So when when the Cavs go on this historic run to tie the record at the end of the seasons, will you be buying the Max Strus Skechers collab version 1 when it's all said and done?
I mean, maybe is it fire? Like
I don't know if he even has New Balance or anything.
I'm an equal brand opportunist.
Does he have a shoe? Hold on, shoe.
Does Donovan Mitchell? Donovan Mitchell's a Jordan brand athlete. I think.
Yeah, because he's got the spider. He's got shoes, right?
I don't think so, dude.
No,
maybe he does. Oh no, yeah, he does.
Okay,
is he Adidas guy? No, he's a Jordan guy.
Strus just wears Nikes, so no, I don't think he's got a. No, I don't think he's got a collab.
No, he's in Adidas. I legitimately have no idea if he's
Donovan?
a Nikes or an Adidas guy. Yeah.
Can we do shoes?
Because they say the DON, but Adidas has it. Never mind. Just kidding.
Jazz now. Yeah, Donovan's body armor. Oh no, sports drink.
No, yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, the Don issue. Adidas. Yeah, Adidas.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Adidas. The Don shoes.
No, we don't need to. Last pair of sneakers I got was, I got the gold Air Max 97s, low tops, Nikes. I'm pumped about that. Got them for Christmas. Got them around Christmas.
I think this is the shoe I want you to get to honor to honor the Cavs' historic run when it's all said and done. I will share. I
don't have the Embiid Skechers, by the way, for everybody who's going to flame me in the comments and ask if I have them. I do not have the Embiid Skechers.
This is the one I want you to get right here. This guy.
Oh my God. I mean, here's the thing. That doesn't look bad if I'm playing basketball.
No. But you think about it. It's like your first day in law, and you're defending someone. And you show up in these, bro. It's over before it started.
No, it is over before it starts. But not the reason I think we think. The only basketball sneaker that truly is a basketball sneaker that I feel like I've seen crossover a little bit, and it's from Adidas, are the Anthony Edwards. The Anthony Edwards ones I've started to see, and honestly, Wale deserves a lot of credit for that. He's been wearing them left and right, but
yeah,
you started to see some people wear them off the court a little bit. Like that's the thing now is with with the LeBrons and with the KDs and with the Kyries, they were all great sneakers. I just don't they're not off the court sneakers. They're very on the court sneakers. And I'm just, I'm 34 now, bro. I I'm not. When I was 12 years old, I was wearing hoop shoes all the time.
Dude,
like,
it was crazy. Quinn was born, and I immediately was looking at those New Balances and those Skechers, and I was like,
oh
damn,
my
they look
God, yeah.
comfortable.
I have never, and this isn't even hate. I've never owned a pair of New Balances. Like, there's a few I like.
Either, I don't think.
I've never had them. I've had the brand. I mean, never had Under Armour sneakers either. I've had Under Armour clothing, but never sneakers.
Two things before I forget. I talked to I had to work a hiring event, and there was and we probably can't talk much more than this. We'll have to wait till it's not recording. But there was a person who apparently worked with you way back in the day, probably before I even knew you, at WOKV. She left. And I don't remember where she said she went, but she's back, and she was looking for a job. And I'll tell you the rest off the mic because I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah. way before
I knew you. I was like, I knew you pretty early when I moved to Jacksonville.
I know, because I didn't know her, and her timeline, she left in 2014.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. We'll come back to it. We'll circle back off the air.
And then oh shoot, I forgot the other thing I was gonna say. Now there was another part of that. There was two thoughts.
Is this person younger or older?
I think she's maybe a little bit older than us.
Oh, interesting. Okay, maybe this is not who I thought it was.
If I say the name, you'll know.
No. I know you will. We'll get back to this off. I don't want to be Mr. Vague Book on the podcast either and act like we got some juicy secret. But the only reason I'm surprised is because I'm like, bro, I didn't work many more jobs before. I mean,
I was knew you and Gene. She knew both of you. She knew you both went to Orlando. She gave me your whole dissertation, and I was like, oh damn, you act like we ain't friends.
She kept up. She knew the vibes. Hey, I mean, listen, I hope I
think she remembered Sarah too, but I didn't. She kind of, at that point, the conversation was ending. So
all right, we're gonna bounce back. If I hope this person is doing well. It sounds like I probably like them. So
they are doing well. They're back in town. But and I forget the reason why they moved back in town. But either way, they're here and they were right.
Again, we will circle back on this. Not to keep using the corporate term, but yeah, we'll check back on that.
Let's put a pin in it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Welcome everybody to the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Cousart.
4K from Trey is crazy. Congrats, my brother. That's fire emoji.
Yo, I already know it's Braun because of the excessive emojis. Just put two or three up.
Dude wants to play with Steph Curry on his team so bad.
But it's mutual now. I will say it's definitely mutual a little bit too. I think Steph was big time. I mean, Steph got Jimmy now, so you're not really complaining. But I think Steph was big time trying to get Braun to go to the Warriors. Obviously, scenarios changed there a little bit. I mean, look, they got it out on the Olympic team. You had that moment. They were standing each other so hard during the Olympics, and it really is just like remarkable when you think about, because it's such a friendly, familial relationship now that it is hard to remember like how heated that was from 2015 to like 2017, 2018. Like that was a blood feud, dude. There was no love lost there. There were multiple like antagonizing each other moments. Someone was posting video of every time LeBron's like tried to save a ball from out of bounds, absolutely just nailed someone like either in the face or something. And it was posted from a Warriors account, and all the comments were like, "Don't act like Draymond's not out here kicking everybody in the nuts." Like, right. I think I forget if it's in Portland or if it's in. I feel like it was either Portland or Memphis, but there's a game where LeBron just plowed over one of the sideline workers. And like, it was not on purpose. She thankfully wasn't hurt, but he did. She just took her out. She wiped out. He goes up, like they've got a great relationship now. Like he goes up and says what's up to her every game. They give each other a big hug. Like
I would, if that, like, even if I hated my job, but every, how many times they play Portland? Maybe 3-4 times a year.
4 times a year, yeah.
In Portland, though, you think maybe only
twice.
2?
Twice tops, yeah.
So if like, okay, so my job here, right? Say I absolutely hate it, but twice a year LeBron's gonna come through and say hey to me. I'm probably keeping the job. like
that's wild. Wow, that's wild. I thought I was the LeBron guy. Jeez.
I mean, but like, how cool is that to be like, yo, LeBron comes through at least twice a year. We say, hey, we chat for a little bit.
You think at her birthday parties, they just throw that video of her getting plowed over on replay? It's like the old NFL hits videos.
Yeah, they do. I would love to do I would love to do if I was good at art. I would pick random moments in NBA history to like paint, but it wouldn't be like
NBA paint.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be like Steph hitting the 4K shot. It would be like, LeBron plowing over the sideline person. Like that would be the thing I paint. Like, these one-off really niche moments that like really maybe 10 people would understand.
Yeah, all the random scenes that everybody loves.
Yeah, exactly. Like LeBron getting kicked in the nuts from Draymond I think that was the finals, right?
Oh, he got punched, but yeah, no. Steven Adams got the full kick, yeah.
So Adams is both of those.
Adams got the full like crane kick. Bro. Yeah, it was crazy.
Like full on. Like those would be my paintings. That would be it.
I'm glad Steven Adams I think he has kids. I'm glad he was able to have kids after that. That looked a little bleak there for one second.
Took him out. Holy hell.
Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
Yes, and excuse me why Looking Boy plays in the background, and I pause it so I can check to see if we got any comments on YouTube. But you can follow us there. Just search Driving Dish NBA on YouTube. Video version's up. It looks a little different right now because, well, our recording software is acting a little funky, so we're getting that figured out. But
it's all right though. We're still here. The episodes are coming.
Video's still up. We are adjusting and we are figuring it out. Unlike the teams we will be talking about in a second.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could say they're figuring it out in some way, but nevertheless. And now a word from our sponsors.
So my amazing tease before the break, a team that is not figuring it out is the San Antonio Spurs. Although I think they're figuring it out in terms of not figuring it out.
No, they fully are.
Like, hey, De'Aaron Fox, your finger hurts, right? Cool. Let's shut you down for the season,
Yeah. I mean, look, Portland has jumped them with Wemby out for the year. I think you already kind of had it. De'Aaron Fox now, you're right, ruled out for the rest of the season. He's going to get tendon damage in his left pinky.
Which apparently he's had all season, and he's shooting fine. He's playing fine.
And that's why I'm not going to flame De'Aaron Fox. Is like De'Aaron Fox genuinely picked this injury up in training camp when he was still playing with Sacramento. So I'm not going to be like, hey, he's definitely not hurt. He's like, there's an injury here. He's getting ahead of it. Clearly, it's a little disappointing because De'Aaron Fox was one of the bigger trade deadline acquisitions. Like we were excited to see how that would work out.
I bet you, again, no fault to either of them or any of them, but I bet you we would not even be talking about this finger injury at all if Wemby was still playing too.
Well, of course, no,
we would not.
No, they'd still be playing together, and that's the thing. And it's tough because they're not really. If those two are still playing, I think it's a little different because given where Dallas is at right now, I think you could, very well argue that maybe you make a push for 10 in that play-in position. Right. I think that's a much bigger deal for the Spurs than it is for some of the other teams that are hanging around there right now. Like you want them to get that experience, but you are at a point now where you're right. Like you're clearly not better than these teams that are in front of you, and you might as well just kind of circle back or circle down or circle the wagons is what I'm trying to say. I need to stop saying circle things this podcast. But look, you're not going to win. Like you might as well try to make your pick better. And I think that's what they're doing right now. Like look at Toronto, who's 6-4 in their last 10, who has one of the easier schedules to go the rest of the way. Like if you're San Antonio, you could definitely drop below them potentially. I don't think you're going to catch the Nets. I don't think you're going to catch the Sixers. The Sixers injury report the other night was, I think they had 96% of their payroll on injured reserve. Paul George is shut down. Tyrese Maxey shut down.
He should go back to doing the podcast.
Wait, the process? Oh, Paul should go back to the podcast.
Yeah. If you shut down, you might as well
no reason to lock in for the rest of the season, right? Obviously, like the bad teams are really not going to, like, no one is catching Utah, New Orleans, Washington, or Charlotte. At this point, those four are just kind of jockeying for that number one position spot. I don't think like the Sixers and the Nets or those other two teams where I think you're like,
Washington got to be careful. Not that it fully matters. They might accidentally mess around and let the Jazz pass them for worst record.
No, 100%.
Like, you'll be careful there. Hey,
the Jazz are fully in the tag mode. I mean, the Jazz have lost like 8 in a row. They're under investigation by the league right now because, I mean, the Jazz are sitting healthy players. Like, I think that's where, and you know, they're looking at OKC for this, where they sat people the other night. Apparently, they're looking at the Sixers for this because Adam Silver's never met an investigation that he didn't want to involve the Sixers in.
Although I will say, like, Wizards in the last 10, they're 5-5. They got a better record than the Hornets. They got a better record than the Sixers.
That's horrific with the Wizards.
They got a better record than the Nets. They got a better record than the Heat. They got a better record than the Magic in the last 5 games. They're tied with the Pacers.
Effect, bro. They bought Chris.
Bro, what are you doing? Stop winning.
No, yeah, they need to not win. You're right. I mean, it's just a big difference. Like the difference between 6 and 7. Between whether you have a chance of 1, like you're talking 20-ish% at that point. Like
I'm a Grizzlies fan, and they got the same record in the last 10. I'm just saying. just saying. We gotta be careful here. Don't lose that last place spot. I mean, you're I think they're only a game, maybe. I think they got 1 game on the Jazz right now.
Yeah, the Spurs are in 8 right now. Realistically, there's a way where you could get them probably down to like 7. I don't think you're gonna get any lower than that, but if you go the rest of the way, if you get down to 7, if you somehow get down to 6, like that's just more advantageous. Like bring in another top talent. Like you said, you've had some success with your guys this year. Castle's a Rookie of the Year candidate. It goes without saying that you still have Wemby. Like the team is fine. They need to start winning some games next year. I agree, but add another top end talent to that, and I feel like they could be an easy breakout pick for next year.
Yeah, I agree. And so, I guess. It all goes back to, I'm not surprised about this De'Aaron Fox thing. I kind of was like, at this point, let him take the rest of the season off, phantom injuries or whatever you got to do. Not saying he's not injured, but just get him out. He doesn't need to play. Even his stats this year were pretty, he was having percentage-wise better than last year percentages in free throw. It looks like 3-point percentage is up. I mean, like free throw, all of it. Yeah, all of his percentages were pretty much up, at least at Sacramento. When he went to the Spurs, things obviously look a little bit worse, figuring out the new offense, and obviously Wemby not being there helps or hurts that. So I'm not surprised this move comes down the line. It's go get your surgery, go get your finger fixed up, and then in the let's recoup for next year kind of deal.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, I think that's the way. I think that's the way to go. Like as soon as Wemby went down, the season was over. Like we don't need. It's
also worth mentioning though this year. Luka, I almost said the Lakers star Luka. Luka and Fox are the only 2 players to average 20 points, 5 assists, and 1 steal in each of the last 6 seasons. So like he's like very slept on, I guess is my point. Like he's putting up similar to Luka stats. I think he might have the only 60-point game this year. Don't quote me on that. I saw that somewhere and I wasn't able to fact check it. But if that's true, that's also crazy. So Fox is really underrated, and him sitting out the rest of the season will leave him underrated for next year with the Spurs, which I think will benefit them a little bit as Wemby and him kind of work on their chemistry.
Yeah, 60 is the most in a game this season. The only one with 60, which is wild when we had multiple 70s last year. Yeah. Giannis had 59 against the Pistons. Steph had 56 against the Magic. That was the other night. Jokic also had 56. And then Jamal Murray, Jalen Brunson have had 55. SGA's had a game. SGA's had 3 50-point games. 4.
SGA had, and we'll talk about him in a second because he had a real good game against Boston.
Well, let's talk about that quick before we transition into Ballin and Fallin real quick. We'll get off some of the teams that have been a little more miserable and talk about that because that's a real potential finals preview the other night. OKC goes in and beats Boston 118-112 in a match, which again, I don't want to say it's a guaranteed finals preview because I do think we got to give Cleveland this credit.
Which apologies to me. I think he's been back for 11 or so games or something. That I had not realized Chet Holmgren was back.
Oh yeah, dude. We talked about you. We talked about him.
I know, dude. It just didn't click. But then all of a sudden, I was like, someone posted stats about Chet, and I was like, I thought he was out. And then I was like, oh, damn, no, he's putting up 15 rebounds, 23 points against against Boston. Again, this game, at least going back and looking at the stats, the thing that kind of stood out to me was rebounds. So a little bit on the Chet side and the Hartenstein side is they were defensive rebounds. The OKC was cooking Boston on that. So really limiting the second chance shots. I think it was Brown and Drew Holiday were like held to like 10 points or something like that, which kind of seemed the approach. So good on them. The other thing I noticed was, and something that someone pointed out, that when SGA was out, the lineup, really like the two-man lineup of Chet and Hartenstein was able, you kind of saw a flash of what it could be, because the guys that were out there with them, I think it was Isaiah Joe, Wallace, and Dang, if I'm not mistaken, which again, that's not really like an on-ball creator situation. Yet they were still able to go on a 14-9 run against the Celtics. So I kind of did a little digging on that two-man lineup of Chet and Hartenstein. They've done 11 games, 154 minutes together, offensive rating of 126.2. Defensive rating is not great, 114.3, but they got a net rating of 11.9. And in the last 5 games, the offensive rating was cooking, which will benefit them down the line if that can continue, because then SGA can come out of the game and rest for a second, even when there's not an on-ball creator, and still, they can still expect to stay with a potential one lineup of Boston if they were to meet in the finals.
Yeah, I think that's what you talked about a little bit at the end there with SGA. I think that's important, because if there's one area of concern I've had for OKC this season, it's they're creating at the end of games, where it does feel like it just has gotten a little SGA heavy at points, and where if it's not him, who's going to take over there? I think we've seen that a little more. Like, we start to see the balance, like you said, happen, where they can beat you in different ways. It's just going to be tough against them in a 7-game series. Like, to me too, they're just so solid defensively. Like, we've talked about it. And again, that goes back to the additions they brought in. Like you mentioned, Hartenstein, it's Caruso as well. It's Lou Dort, who's been excellent for years. Like, they're going to be able to swarm you. And that's where in 7, that's going to be tough.
But it's just like Jaylen Brown can't have 10 points in 38 minutes. Drew Holiday can't have 9 points in 35 minutes. Like, it can't be the Jason Tatum show. I actually think Al Horford did decent, if I'm not mistaken, in that game, scoring wise. But like, again, you want Jaylen Brown to be kind of the second scorer on there. So that, at least to me, is kind of OKC's approach. It's cool. Jason Tatum can score all he wants. We're just really going to hone in on Brown, on Drew, on the other guys. And Tatum's got to be the one to beat us. And it's just not enough, or at least it wasn't enough in that game.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, you're right. Like, if the Celtics, right, if Jaylen Brown is scoring 10 points a game, I don't think the Celtics are going to beat anybody in a series. And I mean, it's also going to be tougher a little bit, I think, for the Celtics. And I still, God, I hate saying this, because Cleveland, again, just keeps checking boxes. But like, I still personally have Boston as the favorite in the Eastern Conference. I just feel like they can hit that different gear than Cleveland can. I'm increasingly losing faith in that, and that's more to do with Cleveland than anything else. Like, how they're playing.
I cannot wait for them to go on a 30-win streak to end the season, and you still say Boston will be more better chance than them.
Whoever comes out of the East, I'll say this, is probably going to have a tougher go of it. And maybe that sounds crazy with how the Lakers have played and with how the Warriors have played, but like, I think the 3 best teams in the NBA are OKC, Boston, and Cleveland. And so I think the conference finals, assuming nothing crazy happens, I think the conference finals between Boston and Cleveland is going to be quite a tough matchup. And if OKC can handle their business, you might be the more rested team going into that finals.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where things lie. Like, I think if personally, right now, I would love a Western Conference Finals matchup of Thunder Nuggets or Thunder Warriors or Thunder Lakers. And that's probably my order of what I would want to see.
Yeah.
Because that's a bloodbath.
I don't want Thunder Nuggets at all, as crazy as that sounds. And this is going to be Denver's.
You don't want Chet versus Jokic. Like, you get the big guys down low.
So Sacramento, I watched Sacramento Denver the other night, and the alarm bells start going off, dude. Teams are not going to guard Russ and Christian Brown in a 7-game series. And
Although
that's
Russ
just going to
does
be
hit
my
the game
problem.
winner.
Is like they're going to let them
Yeah.
like flow down on the perimeter. They're going to be able to lock in on your other guys. And so like if they hit shots and they're able to open that up, then I'm a little higher on Denver. But like I feel like I already got a preview of what the playoffs are going to look like for Denver, and that's just a tough overcome.
That's fair. And that's also why I lean a little bit Thunder Warriors. Like, it would be cool to see Steph and Jimmy, the old guys against the new team, like that would be a bloodbath. Like, that would be crazy. Chet versus Draymond, like you do have a fun matchup.
We got to start. If Steph messes around and wins the title this year, we got to start talking about, like, I think Steph is a bona fide, no question, top 10 player of all time.
Okay.
I think he's closer to 5 probably than 10. If he tacks a 5th on the board this year with Jimmy, listen.
Derek Fisher has 5. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Horry's got 7. So, no disrespect to Big Shot Bob, obviously one of the most clutch players in NBA history.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Steph is knocking on the door of 5 to me. Which is really, like, that's saying it's so far beyond the best shooter at this point. My top 3, and we don't need to do this because this is like I don't love these conversations, especially in the middle of the season. Is it really the time? But like my top 3 has been like MJ, Bron, or flip flop, but any combo of that is 1, 2. I have Kareem fully locked in at 3.
Oh, by the way, last week we recorded. This is it's going towards what you just said. I promise. It's not my ADD brain just taking over. We record our podcast. Last week I go and do my legal show. I step out, and my guy Brian Middleton's in the building. And he goes,
the broadcast Don.
Yeah, broadcast Don. He goes, hey, Justin, come in here for a second. He's got some basketball, football podcast stuff he's working on. And I see a crew in there. I'm like, oh, cool. Let's go say hey. I walk in. It's some of the guys that I've done radio with. He used to bring these guys in when we did a live show on ESPN, and we would debate LeBron. We would debate basketball. All the guys are cool. And there's someone sitting over in the back corner who I couldn't see because he was kind of hiding behind the speakers. And they get me in there and they get me talking. And out of the corner, I hear, Trevor Lawrence is trash. I look over and I recognize who it is. And I immediately fire back. I said, if Trevor Lawrence is the Miami Dolphins quarterback, you guys win a Super Bowl at least in the last 3 years. And he gets fired up, and it's our boy Carlton.
Yeah, all right, my guy. All right.
Carlton was in the building. He's like, hey, don't tell any of the bosses I'm in here. I don't think I'm allowed. I was like, I don't know. I think you're fine.
Carlton better not be banned from that building.
I don't think he is.
He didn't do anything ban-worthy. He just got another job.
No, I don't think he's ban-worthy. But all that to say,
I love Carlton. Carlton is genuinely one of my favorite people on the planet.
All that to say, and maybe I'll ask him to come on and defend himself. One of Brian's buddies claimed that LeBron would be behind Kobe in an all-time list.
Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah. I hear that on the internet all the time, and like we're not doing that. It's gonna come off as it comes off when I say it is disrespectful to Kobe, because whenever I talk about Kobe, I feel like I sound like way bigger of a hater than I actually am.
Yeah.
Kobe, again, same deal. It's a bona fide top 10 player to me. There are people that put Kobe in the MJ and LeBron discussion, and I just don't think it's accurate at all. Like, I really don't. I think Kobe come on. I think Kobe's a winner. So, like, that's where it's tough, right? Like, Kobe won all the time. Kobe also didn't win a lot in the middle of his career. He didn't win at all at the end of his career. And I just, like, I think Kobe was maybe the best player in the NBA for 1 season. Maybe you can stretch me to, like, 2. I think LeBron and MJ were the best player in the NBA for, like, a decade plus. Like,
okay.
But again, I sound like a hater. Like, and so it's like, I think Kobe, like, my better debate for me is who is the better player of that generation? Is it Kobe or is it Tim Duncan?
Yeah.
That's the discussion for me. I think a lot of people think that's insane, and they think I'd be a hater for saying that. I think they put Kobe right up there with MJ and Bron. I don't. personally.
Well, we'll have to get the broadcast Don's got to get his podcast rolling. Once they got a little push, and be like, hey, come on, the Drive.
He's come on here too. He is overdue so bad for an appearance on this podcast.
The broadcast Don is hard to tie down, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna try him
I try to get some time from him, and I can never get it. So yeah, we definitely got to get him on to talk some ball, because we definitely in the hallways.
I was gonna say listeners don't know Brian. Listeners know Carlton. Carlton's been on this podcast multiple times. Like, go back. He was on.
I would love to hear Carlton's thoughts on the Heat right now. I guess
Carlton's been an OG. Pat Riley's been washed for years type deal, and obviously they're not doing too great. They're not gonna be falling right now. But let's jump into it. Who's balling? Who's falling? Our NBA version of the stock market. We always like start with the good before the bad. So I teased it a little bit earlier. Balling for me this week is a few win streaks in the Western Conference. And so we talked Dubs, so we're not going to rehash that, but they won 6 in a row. The other two that I want to mention are Rockets. Houston, winners of 5 in a row. They're up to 3. And who, again, we talked a little bit about earlier. And Minnesota, winners of 7 in a row. They're in play-in right now, but they've got a little bit of distance between the Clippers. And again, they're right there with the Warriors in terms of standings. The Wolves, particular, their last win against Orlando was pretty impressive. Closed out on a 15-1 run to ice that out in a 7-point win. Kind of flipping the script.
Okay, but hold on. I want to be a hater for a second.
Okay, all right.
Since the loss to the Lakers, which I think was their last loss, Timberwolves, win against the Jazz, again, only a 1-point win. Oh, no, the Jazz beat them. So the Jazz would have been, oh, geez, dude. Okay, so the win against the Suns it kind of leans into my hater.
Beating the Suns is a big win for them, though.
Okay, fine. A win against the Sixers. A win against the Hornets. A win against the Heat. Barely. A 20-point win against the Spurs where you scored 141. Cool. That's like picking on the nerdy kid at camp. Like, come on. A win against the Nuggets, I'll give you. That's a good one. And
it was a great win.
It was a good win, 115-95. That's a good win. And cool, you beat the Magic. I know you mentioned their comeback, but still, like, you should beat the Magic right now.
I hear you, but like, I'm not going to fault them for beating the teams that are in front of them. They're handling their business. Well,
worse is they got the Jazz, and they're going to need that revenge game.
They're going to win that. Yeah, I would say they're going to win that, so that's good.
So that's what that's 7. That's an 8-game win streak.
Yeah.
Pacers may end it on St. Patty's Day because that's a back-to-back.
Yeah, stuff.
So so maybe you beat that, but if they can beat the Pacers, then they got the Pelicans twice. So you could extend this, in theory, this win streak to almost a 10-ish game. You got the Pacers again after that, and then Suns. But like, most of those teams are like, yeah, you should beat them right now.
Yeah, but that's what you need, though. If you're trying to get out of playing position, and especially given how the Warriors are playing, like, you need Memphis or the Lakers or Houston to skid a little bit.
Yeah,
but that can get you out. Like, being out of that playing position is so huge for them. And given how they've been this season, like largely 500, kind of up and down, kind of disappointing at the end of games, it would do them well and build confidence, obviously, going forward for what this team looks like if they're able to pull themselves in. Like, look, I know it's a softer schedule, but I'm not really going to fault them for having a soft schedule and beating everybody on it.
I agree. I think they will potentially pull themselves out because my whole prediction. I think the standings will be Thunder 1, and then some mix of Nuggets, Rockets, Lakers, Warriors, Timberwolves. The Grizzlies are going to drop themselves.
Man, you really got them sliding out, even with the 3.5 game cushion.
It's 3.5 games, and they're going 500. If the Timberwolves are going to go on a 9 to 10 game win streak, like, dude, I don't know. It leaves the door open.
No, I know. I hear you. I don't fully disagree.
I get worried about it. I don't want him to. Like I said, I've declared my allegiance to the Memphis Grizzlies, which feels like I kind of cursed them because ever since I said that, they've been going 500, and I looked at their schedule, and I'm like, oh, damn it. They're going to go 500. So either way, yeah. But yes, good win streaks all around. Still not as good as the Cavs win streak, but that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing, too,
you're not going to mention the Bulls win streak? They're on a 4-game win streak.
No, I'm not going to mention the Bulls win streak. Sorry. I was going to give Julius Randle a shout out because he's been playing great the past 2 weeks. I'm going to focus more on
that. All right, fine.
The Bulls fans, I don't know what the Bulls are doing. Josh Giddey's playing well, though, so I guess that's good for them. I'll give them a little bit of love there. All right, who's balling for you, Just?
Never mind. I was going to say something stupid.
Oh, God. Yeah. Whoa. I think we know where we're going. We're good. That's the off the mic. They got to pay extra for that.
Yeah, that's an unfiltered podcast.
Trying to get us in trouble.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm going to stop. So my shout out and my ballin is going out to the Southwest Airlines media team, who had to deal with a lot of frustration over an announcement from Southwest.
Yeah, as they should.
Taking away their free bag policy.
Clowns.
Yeah. So that's a little frustrating. But the media team posting about it started it off saying, it's not like we traded Luka.
And like, here's the thing.
Damn.
That's great media work. I get it. You might as well kick the person who's down more than you. But also, like, Southwest, y'all are not getting this off, fam. Y'all are not getting this off when you're cutting free bags, when the price of everything else on an airline is going up, when the quality of the service is getting worse. You got planes falling out of the sky everywhere, left and right, it feels
every
like.
day.
There was an American Airlines flight.
Is about to have himself a year.
Yeah, like, there was an American Airlines flight that randomly was on fire the other day for no reason. And not just like, oh, it's a little fire. Like, no, it's completely engulfed in flames. Like, no. Like, Southwest, read the room. Like, can you read the room? And you're not getting, I'm not letting you get this joke off on Nico just because the Mavs are somehow worse than you are.
See, when in doubt and you have bad news, gaslight. That is
no, I mean, word. I mean, that's a great that is a great thing, because
when in doubt, gaslight.
I mean, that's what the administration's been. Oh, I'm gonna get you in trouble. I mean, that's what the administration's been doing for the past 2 months. So I mean, they're gaslighting about the economy right now. They say it's got the fundamentals as a good economy, as the whole thing's plunging to recession levels. Like, all right, fam, sure. Cool. Who's falling for you this week?
The Chicago Bulls have the fundamentals of a decent basketball team.
Great. We're the Chicago Bulls of countries right now. That's fair.
You think, or are we the Wizards?
No, we're not that bad, dude. It's bleak, but though Chicago's pretty bleak, honestly. Like, the Wizards might get a number 1 pick. Chicago just is constantly like mediocre and never bad enough to be the number 1 pick. So
That's fair.
I don't know.
All right, we're on that.
MJ years are our World War II years. That's the greatest generation. It's been all bad. We had that little run in the 80s with Derrick Rose, and it's been cooked since then.
All right. So we're on my Fallin, I think, at this point. I gotta find my message to you because I need to be able to
I guess I gotta go. But wait, I'll go back to my Fallin quick. Fallin for me is LeBron James. LeBron is out for 1 to 2 weeks. He's got this groin injury. Again, a little bit of irony, because I feel like in recent weeks we've talked about LeBron not getting hurt like that. To be fair, this is a 1 to 2 week injury. Like, this isn't the major injury. I think that's what more we were talking about. But it's like we've been talking about all episode. Like, they've lost 4 in a row. Bron's been playing phenomenal.
It's just,
and when you're dealing with, like, you're in that
rate.
mix with Denver, Houston, and Memphis, every one of those games is going to matter down the stretch. Having him healthy for the playoffs, obviously, way more important. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit. If you're fighting, I mean, they could have been as high as 2. Like, if you're trying to be
right,
and they've been. If you're trying to have that number 2 seed where you've got playoff or home court against anybody except OKC, I don't know, that becomes a little tougher without
even
Bron.
Even if you just went 500 in the last 4 games, like, you're then tied for almost 3rd place. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how tight it is with this Western Conference. So, like, yes, the Lakers need the wins. I'm not necessarily concerned about it, though. You do worry if it takes too long or you lose too many while he's out. Are you flirting with, like, the Timberwolves at 7? Like, we're really not far off here, So you do got to be a little bit careful there and see where it lands. But yeah, again, it's LeBron. He'll be back. He'll be in the playoffs. We'll be fine. My Fallin is going to go to NBA and AI right now for 2 separate stories. I don't know if you saw the second one I sent you. It's more specifically the Sixers.
I can't believe. I feel like we need to clarify this real quick. We are talking about artificial intelligence, not Allen Iverson.
Yes. Sorry,
not Allen Iverson.
Artificial intelligence, not AI.
I do love those headlines whenever it's like AI eliminated 40,000 jobs. It's like, why would Iverson do this?
He's gotta start jumping in on that joke if he hasn't already.
For sure. I feel like he will.
So the first one, we'll just gloss over so we're not Sixer homers, but Daryl Morey mentioned that they do use artificial intelligence when making team decisions, which is infuriating.
That makes me worry about artificial intelligence more than anything.
Like,
I was like, I was like, is that what they're up to? Like, are we sure this is the savior or something?
Right. So there was also a ChatGPT prediction of the next 75 NBA champions. The prediction for this year is Boston. The prediction for next year is the Nuggets. 2027, OKC finally gets one. Wemby comes in right after that at 28, and I'll stop giving you the list. There's a decent amount of Spurs on this. There's a surprising amount of Cavs in 85.
All right, 6 years from now.
If you're a Cavs fan, man, stop smoking now because you got to make it to 85 so that you can see a 3-year run for the Cavs. But the first thing that stuck out to me is all the way up to 2104. There are no Sixers championships.
I mean, that feels right.
Not one. We have 6 expansion teams predicted and wins before the Clippers or the Sixers get a win.
That's great. That's crazy. Having the expansion teams get. When do the Knicks win?
The Knicks actually. Oh yeah, 2104 actually is.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. So that the Knicks have been through. God, 2104.
There's an expansion team, which would be the Sonics, predicted to win. They would be the first one to win in 2035. It's the Sonics. So Seattle would come back. The Orlando Magic win 2 in a row, 33-34. And they also win 71, 72, 73. Oh, Orlando, hey, you guys stop smoking too. You got to make it to 71. You're going to get a 3-year win streak.
I'm just laughing at this, like with the kids who are listening to this. It's like, all right, y'all, who are the ones who have the best chance of seeing this? It's like, all right, stop smoking. Kids are all like 12.
Well, yeah, you're all vaping. Stop vaping. Stop stop vaping and stop doing the what is it?
No, the Zins, bro. The Zins are in right now.
Dude, I'll tell you, it's gonna make me sound washed or something. I did one with Nicole's brother. Dude, that sent me like puking, couldn't handle it. Like, dude, those are crazy.
Yeah, if you don't do nicotine, you realize how much of a buzz the first time you do when you don't do nicotine. So like
more drunk than I've ever felt in a really long time. Like, holy hell, dude.
Like I've never dipped or done a Zin or anything like that. I haven't probably smoked a cigarette since like 2013, but like, yeah, if I smoked a cigarette now in 2025, your boy would be buzzing, but also like, don't smoke cigarettes.
Only if you have a few drinks. Listen, I will, and I'm not a big cigar person either, but if the Sixers win, I'm smoking a cigar, like a celebratory cigar, because I'm going to need it. Y'all put me through the ringer. I'm smoking a cigar.
Yeah, you might be holding that cigar for a lot. A cigar might crumble to dust before that happens, but
well, in this case, yeah, it's over. Over 60 years from now, we're still not going to have a Sixers win according to this. So
amazingly, as much as we slander the Sixers, they are not even the longest title drought in this town. The Philadelphia Flyers have not won the Stanley Cup since 1975. They won back-to-back Stanley Cups in 1974 and 1975. In literally their first decade of existence, they won 2 Stanley Cups, and they have not won one since. They've been to a bunch. They were a few in the 80s, never won. They got swept by the Red Wings in 97. They made it in 2010, but lost to Chicago. Yeah, the longest title. That God for the Birds, baby. Gotta love them. All I gotta say is go bleeping Birds,
dude. That and listen, Phillies
won a World Series. Phillies won a World Series in my lifetime. So at the end of the day, like, it's hard for me. Okay. They've been disappointing because it's again. We'll get off this quick because we're gonna play Grid in a sec. But like the Phillies won, like the 2022 World Series run was so unexpected that it was playing with house money in my eyes. Yeah. But the problem is there's been expectations every year since, and they've disappointed, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't know this year though, I'm just happy for baseball to be back. So it's like hard to really be upset about it. I don't know. Like, I don't think of them as a favorite this year, but I also don't think anyone other than the Dodgers is going to win the World Series. The way the Dodgers won the World Series and then got the number 1 Japanese prospect and the number 1 closer available on the market. Like, okay, all right.
Yep.
It's like when the Warriors got KD. Like, it's just like, what are you supposed to do here?
Oh, yeah. Although I will say baseball is like the one sport that, like, I get it. I know what you're saying, and they are going to be legit, and they'll probably win the whole thing. But baseball is the one sport where, like, weird things can happen because it is so, like, up in the air, and one person can't fully influence the game as much. You know what I mean? All that to say, yeah, they probably win the whole thing, but it's fine. All right. You want to switch into some grid since we finally figured out how we can.
We did. We're back, baby. We got some grid this week. We're gonna.
We don't need audio from the tab, so we'll do that.
We'll blow through this quick. I mean, it seems to be an easier one. Wow, grid number 600. Shout out to Basketball Reference. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for the podcast listeners, of course, you can always watch stream on YouTube. Just search Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Again, our listeners, our columns this week, the Clippers, the first round draft pick and 20 points a game per season, are rows from top to bottom, the Sixers, the Grizz, and 10 rebounds a game per season. So at this point, yeah, I feel like it's more of like, how do you challenge yourself?
Do you want to go
try
crazy?
To get these low percentages, especially with first round draft pick, man? Because first round draft pick doesn't even need to be with the team.
Didn't Covington end up with the Clippers?
Covington ended up with the Clippers, so the few was Harden's the obvious one there.
Shamet, right?
Shamet ended up with the Clippers. That'd be a really good low guess.
Nick
the other
Batum.
one, Batum, you're right. I didn't think about that. That's a good obvious one. The
like
other one that will be maybe a little lower and somebody that I don't think we use a lot is Embiid's mentor, Luke Ba-Mute.
Oh yeah, and Lou Will, by the way.
Yeah, Lou Will definitely.
But that'll be a popular one. Yeah, that'll be a popular one.
Yeah.
Lou Will for 20 point. Ooh, he probably doesn't have 20 for season with the Sixers, right?
Not with the Sixers.
No.
I think he would with the Clippers, but I don't think he would with the Sixers.
And Harden.
Harden's the obvious one. Yeah, Harden's the obvious one.
Paul George too, yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
So you want to go Ma-Bute? I don't know how to say it. Ma-Bute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness.
I'm bad at names,
MBAH.
MBAH. That's probably going to get us there.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. 0.1. Yep.
Nice. All right. Oh
my God. Was Shamet wasn't a first round?
I think he was.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure
Dario was.
Dario definitely was. I'm pretty sure Shamet was a first round pick, dude. I think we took him at the end of the first, if I remember correctly.
Should we go Shamet? There's no way people are putting him as a first round pick. I just don't know if he was. Like, I definitely feel better about Dario than Shamet.
Oh man, no, Dario's 100% a first round pick. I think Shamet's a first rounder. I'm positive. Like, it was low. It was really late, but he was a first round pick. I think he'll be super low.
You want to go for it?
Did he play for the Grizzlies too? Yeah, 0.2%.
Oh, he did. I think he's there now.
Yeah, I feel like he might be there now. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll look that up in a sec. I
could have sworn
he's been all over. He definitely played for the Clippers for sure.
Yeah.
Shamet was pick. Yeah, let me look this up now. Okay, yeah, Shamet was pick 26, so he was a first rounder. He was low. He did not play for the Grizzlies, actually. Sixers, Clippers, Nets, Suns, Wizards, Knicks.
Huh. Okay. All right. All right. So 76ers, 20 points per game. We got a lot to pick with.
You got a lot, dude.
Yeah. I mean, Ben Simmons would be a weird one to. Do you think he got 20,
I don't think
right?
I don't think Ben averaged 20. I really don't.
Yeah,
even when he was cooking up.
Even my head is, I had him at like 16 or 17 per game.
Yeah, I think he's right around there too. I mean, the obvious 20 points a game per season guys for the Sixers are Embiid, are Harden, are Iverson, are Irving, Moses Malone. I mean, Barkley had 20 for sure.
Iggy?
I don't think Iggy ever had 20 with us.
I feel like we had this conversation. Yeah, I feel like we had this conversation.
All those guys from the mids are going to be close. It's like Iguodala, Drew Holiday.
Drew definitely had it, right?
No, I don't know, man. He was an all-star with us, but I don't think he was scoring a ton.
Yeah, and Thad and Turner probably weren't.
No, I don't think. And that's the same sort of deal. It's
yeah, they're just close. Yeah.
I try to think of like the late guys who were there in their careers. So like the Chris Webbers of the world.
Ooh, hold on. 20, our center before Embiid, first round pick. What was his?
Okafor?
Did he have 20?
Oh, man, he might.
He probably did because he was our only option.
Dude, I know. It's true. God, did he? I don't. It's so close though. That team was so bad. That's the problem. Is that I'm like, did he have 20? I don't think Carter Williams ever had 20 in the rookie year.
No, he had 16.
Okay, I'm really glad that you know that.
Yeah, I remember
I
that. Because, I kind of remember that for some reason. He had 6. I think that was like a big deal. That was like a higher, that was like towards the top you get out of a rookie.
He has one of the better rookie years around.
I want to say it was 16 something. 16 points per game or something like that. It was close.
No, probably a 20 a game for us, and it's a little more because he played for us in the 90s when we weren't really that good. I think Jerry Stackhouse has 20 points a game for the Sixers.
I'll lean on you for that one if you want to go for it.
Stackhouse was there because he was after the Barkley teams and he was the main offensive weapon. And I feel like he definitely he only played with us for a few years. So he's probably more famous for Detroit.
2%.
Yeah.
2%.
Okay.
There you go.
All
right.
I want to check Drew Holiday. Yeah, Drew never had 20 with us. Drew's highest was like 17. Iguodala is close, man. Iguodala would have burned us. Iguodala's highest with us is 19.9. That's crazy.
You can't just round it up.
You're right. Like actually,
that was like me begging my my college. I had a 2.9 GPA at graduation. So I was like, bro, can you just get that to a 3, please? And it's all because of my first semester freshman year when I got failed out of class for plagiarism.
Wait, what? Hang on. You got credibly failed the class because of plagiarism?
It was a misunderstanding from what the teacher had told me the class before. Yeah, I had to do a presentation on the death penalty. And I started the presentation off with the definition of the death penalty. Now, the class before, the teacher said if it's common knowledge in the field of study, you don't have to cite it. And so I figured if you're in the field of the death penalty, it would be common knowledge to know the definition. So I didn't cite Google when I said that. So immediately, it was my 3rd day in college. He stopped my presentation. He kicked me out of class and he failed me.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I fought it for 3 years because the teacher was fired the year after for failing too many kids for that exact reason.
Dude, and that's great. That would legit, not to be too real life about it, but you would have to defend that. If you ever plan on taking the bar exam, you'd have to actually talk about that and defend that.
That's crazy. Really? Yeah.
Because it's considered dishonesty, and that's the big thing they're worried about, obviously, in the law. Is if I ever got convicted of anything related to fraud or deceit or anything like that, even if it was minor, I probably wouldn't let me in.
That's wild. Yeah, I mean, I tried to fight it because I got failed out, it gave me a 2.2 GPA that first semester.
That's brutal. Yeah.
And then I just spent the rest of the time acing classes trying to get that back up.
It's impossible. Yeah.
Yeah. It was frustrating, but that's a whole sidebar conversation. Clippers, Grizz.
I know you love one guy that fits for this. You use him all the time.
Who?
Luke Kennard.
Oh, Kennard, yeah.
Yeah, Kennard went straight from the Grizz to the Clippers. I feel like that's going to be one of the more popular ones, honestly.
I bet it would be. I'm trying to think of older guys. I was trying to think a little further back. Did Tony Allen or...
No, Tony Allen didn't. Know who sneaky has a year with the Clippers? Zach Randolph. Zach Randolph has a year with the Clippers it'll be high, I think.
Yeah.
But right between... Randolph had a bunch of seasons in Portland. He played with the Knicks for a little bit, and he kind of wasn't good. And then they trade him to the Clippers, and then he went to Memphis and obviously resuscitated his career.
Random question. Because of all that, do you think he had 10 rebounds per game for the Clippers?
Oh, my goodness, probably.
Because that would be sneaky low because they're going to use him in the other one, and people probably won't make the connection.
The only worry I have with that, the only one, is that I don't think he played there very long. And so I wonder
if it's enough.
Oh God, that's so tough. You're right. That would be great if he did, but I just don't know if he did.
Okay. We don't have to go that way.
We'll come back to that. I'm
first round pick. I mean, we could do the whole Paul Gasol thing again.
I think Gasol's gonna be high. I think he won Rookie of the Year.
He will be. Was Desmond Bane a first round pick?
Desmond Bane was definitely a first round pick. He and Maxey went back to back, and both of them, it's how did they fall that far?
Yeah. Bane would be an interesting
all
one.
their main guys currently are first round picks. Like Edie's a first round pick, Ja's a first round pick, obviously. Bane's a first round pick.
Was Mike Conley a first round pick for the Grizz?
Mike Conley was definitely a first round pick. The other guys, like if you want to do guys that like Marcus Smart is currently on the roster, he was a first round pick. Who?
Do we go back to Tim's favorite guy that we always argued about? Andre Roberson, however he said it, the defensive. He was OKC. Never mind. Sorry.
I was like,
he was OKC.
I was like, when did that happen?
No. You're right. It was OKC.
Oh no, dude. Know who we got to do? No, there's an obvious answer here, Justin. We have to do We have to do the process legend himself, Tony Roten, dude. Tony Roten was a first round pick.
For the Grizz
he played
crazy.
like 3. Yeah, he played like 1 season with them and then came to us. He's 100% a first round pick.
0.06 is crazy.
Tony Roten, process legend, baby.
All right, points per game 20. I feel like Marc Gasol possibly works.
Mark is low key gonna be right on the border. I mean, the current ones are John Bane, both work for sure.
John Bane, potentially Zach, potentially Mark.
I think Zach works more than Mark does. Mark was not like a big scoring guy. I mean, Tony Allen was obviously not a big scoring guy either. They kind of split, honestly, when all said and done. Yeah, I mean, Randolph, Conley, Gasol, Morant, Bane. Oh, dude, if we want to use a throwback, you want to take it back to Vancouver? How about Sharif Abdur-Rahim? NBA Street 1 legend. Played for the Vancouver Grizz. He 100% had 20 a game for them. He's an all-star.
Okay. Kareem, like I don't even know how
Abdur. A-B-D-U-R.
You are?
A-B-D-U-R.
B-D-U-R.
Yeah, right there. Sharif Abdur-Rahim. It's definitely him. Guarantee it.
10%. That's the NBA street pool, man. That's the NBA street pool.
Oh man. I mean, he was the main Vancouver guy, but damn, I think it'd be 10%. Shoot.
That's funny.
I thought with some of the other guys on there that it might like. I gotta be honest, dude. I'm kind of stumped on Grizz and Clippers right now. I'm really like, I mean, I've got the two. I guess we're not stumped, but they're both kind of chalky, I feel like.
Well, what was the one we were gonna say? We were gonna say I mean, what was
Kennard and Randolph, and I think Kennard will be less chalky than Randolph.
Who did we? No, he wasn't there. Okay. All right. So should we just fill out the bottom row then and come back?
Yeah, I mean, we could bang that out real fast. I mean, 20 and 10. You know, which big man would you like to choose?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who would be the lesser of them. $10 rebounds, 20 game, 10 rebounds, first round pick, 10 rebounds, Clippers.
All right, you ready? I'm just gonna pick one.
Okay.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh my God, I forgot he was there. On 20? Yeah, or you want to do game. Or you want to do it under 10?
20 game. You're right. I didn't think he played with the Clippers. I don't think he's going to have 10 boards with the Clippers. I would be stunned if he had 10 boards with the Clippers.
Okay. DeMarcus Cousins will go 0.4 is wildly underrated.
There's so many options there.
I know, but that's
thing.
crazy.
It's a victim of options. Like you could pick, you know how many Hall of Famers you could pick and how many just even borderline guys had 20 and 10 as a big man?
What's the dude on the Kings? The
currently?
Yeah.
Sabonis.
So we should do Sabonis as first round pick, 10 rebounds per game.
Oh, I'm down with that.
I bet he's low. I bet that's low.
I think it'll be low.
I bet that's way low. Yeah, 0.8.
Yeah, 0.08. Nice. Hell yeah. Okay. Clippers 10 boards a game per season. I mean, DeAndre Jordan is the obvious one.
DeAndre Jordan, probably Blake.
Dude, no, Blake definitely did. If you want to go back a little bit, Elton Brand definitely did.
What about the guy they traded yeah, I think he's there now actually, and I wonder if he's getting 10. He was on the Lakers, right?
Oh, Zubats?
Zubac.
Yeah, I think Zubats has 10.
But he's probably chalky because he's there.
Yeah, I guess. He is. He's there now, but it's also like, DeAndre's the chalkiest answer. And I would argue Blake is right there, too.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with either Elton or Zubats.
Which one you want to roll with?
Oh, man. Let's do Zoo. We use Elton more, I feel like.
ZUB, right? Yeah. Yep. 10?
Yeah, okay. I can look at
that. The recency stuff. That's fine.
All right. Grizz and Clippers. Like we said, we got answers. I'm just trying to think of something a little less chalky.
Yeah, Clippers, Grizz.
Like I'm trying to think of none of the Lob City teams, none of them went there. Like
no.
even the swing guys, like I don't think like JJ Redick never played in Memphis, did he? I don't think he did.
No, he was on Pelicans,
Dallas, Orlando.
Yeah. There's gotta be like who was a big name on come on, Luke Kennard, we already said. He was kind of both teams right down the middle. I'm
really I'm struggling.
We said Zach Randolph, right?
Yeah, we said Randolph and Luke Kennard are the two we have.
Randolph, Luke Kennard.
I feel like we just got to pick one. Like we'll look at some others afterwards, but I don't feel any closer.
Yeah, we might as well just want to go Luke.
Yeah, let's go Luke. I think Luke will be lower. Like Randolph is a Grizz legend. I feel like he's just going to grid high every time, no matter what.
Did Matt Barnes end up on the Grizz?
Oh, he definitely ended up on the Grizz. Was he on the Clippers?
Yeah, he was on the Clippers for a while, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's our guess, Just. That's it. For sure. He was definitely on the Grizz. I'm more positive he was on the Grizz than the Clippers, which is wild because I think he played like 10 plus season with the Clippers.
Yeah, he was on the Clippers for a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Good poll.
16% on Matt Barnes. That's crazy.
I don't think there's a lot of options there. I feel like that's why it's high. And Barnes is an Immaculate Grid darling. He's on a lot of teams. All right. Most popular answers for all of them. For Clippers and Sixers, James Harden. For Sixers, first round pick, Joel Embiid. For Sixers, 20 a game, Allen Iverson. For Grizz and Clippers, it was Zach Randolph, 33%. For Grizz, first round draft pick, Ja Morant. For Grizz, 20 points a game per season, also Ja Morant. For Clippers, 10 a game boards per season, DeAndre Jordan. For first round draft pick, 10 rebounds per game per season is Shaq. And for 20 points a game per season, 10 rebounds per game is Jokic.
The hardest connect.
Yeah, Grizz and Clippers.
Grizz and Clips. 44 options, though, is crazy.
That feels low, though, compared to some.
Wow. So the most popular top players, Zach Randolph, Matt Barnes, Jeff Green.
Oh, yeah, Jeff's always a good
2
pull.
seasons, yeah. Joakim Noah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember him in Memphis. I forgot him with Clippers.
Bo Outlaw would be the top.
Okay, damn, yeah, Bo's a good 2000s guy. It's a sneaky one.
Most recent, James Ennis III. He's only played 2 games. Only played 2 games for the Clippers. Justice Winslow would have worked. That's a sneaky one. They've only played like 30 games for each team. JaMychal Green.
Yeah, that one was recent.
That's a good one.
Okay, that makes sense.
Avery Bradley barely played for the Grizz. Maurice Spates. Lance Stevenson. Jordan Farmar.
Damn. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Makes sense, but never will pull any of these. All right, let's go back to our grid. Let's recap one last time.
All right.
For Sixers and Clippers, Luke Bahamute. For Sixers first round pick, Landry Shamet. For Sixers 20 a game per season, Jerry Stackhouse. For Grizz and Clippers, Matt Barnes. For Grizz first round pick, Tony Roten. For Grizz, 20 a game per season, Sharif Abdur-Rahim. For Clippers, 10 rebounds a game per season, Ivica Zubats. For first round pick, 10 boards a game per season, Domantas Sabonis. And for 20 points a game per season, 10 rebounds per game, DeMarcus Cousins. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys. As always, leave us a review on iTunes. We'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, wherever you get your podcast, you can find us.
And follow us on YouTube, Drive and Dish NBA. You can find a video version of the podcast there. Subscribe. You'll also be told when new episodes are being published.